again, I speak somewhat from personal experience, I think there's a developmental phase, I guess, that people go through where it feels like some things are, for want of a better word, spiritual, and other things aren't. And so it feels like this is my spiritual life, and this is something else, which is not spiritual somehow. And I somewhat wonder that some of those ideas can be fed by some of the origins of certain teachings, that it's about getting away from those unspiritual things towards what is spiritual. And it strikes me that many spiritual teachers, for example, when they live a monastic life, they very deliberately don't have sex. They're not in intimate relationship. Money is something that they don't deal with. And that somehow feeds that idea. I'm curious as to your thoughts.
Well, I think what's helpful is to, rather than seeing in terms of spiritual or not spiritual, is just to see in terms of opportunity to learn, opportunity to meet life, opportunity to deepen one's connection with and exploration of what's happening. And one could say, well, everything has that same opportunity, which is true, but it turns out that the areas of life that exert the most charge on us, the ones that are the most compelling, because of their charge, have the most opportunity.
Yeah.
You get to see yourself in these areas of life in a way that you don't in others. So if you take the intimacy of sexual relationship, an intimate relationship, there's a kind of nakedness, I mean figuratively as well as literally, right? A kind of vulnerability there.
Yeah.
That it's easy to hide from yourself in different relationships, collegial relationships, friendships, even family to a certain extent. You can keep up playing a version of yourself that in the intimacy of sexual relationship you can only sustain for so long, right? Before the other person sees through your bullshit, basically.
Right.
And so that's a great opportunity.
Well, it's either welcome or it's not welcome.
Right.
But hopefully it's welcome.
Right. And so actually it's like, having spent some years in a more monastic environment and in a more sort of conventionally spiritual environment, as it were, I started to really value these places that exert that kind of charge, because I got to see myself at my most provoked, at my most confused, in a way. And that starts to be valuable because this seems like, one gets a certain degree of spaciousness around what's happening, around the less charged stuff, right? But these are the areas that tend to kind of trip us up.
Yeah.